racially integrated singer. Rocky Burnett, son of Presley classmate Johnny Burnett.
There was a feeling going down at the time in the South where there were white stations and there were black stations, and never did the twain ever meet. There was a heavy-duty racial unbalance in those days as far as the radio stations were concerned. And although Joe Turner and Lightning Joe Hopkins and cats like that were cutting pseudo-rock and roll records, it didn't catch on into the white scene until years later.
It would take Dewey Phillips and Red Hot and Blue on WHBQ to literally cross the line and paint the town Presley. The time has come for the Blue Moon Boys to hit the road.
During this period, Elvis signed a management contract with me, which was a protection device. Bob Neal started booking us. He had an early morning radio show, which just boomed right down the Delta.
Sam Phillips of Sun Records asked me, he knew I was presenting a show in another week there out at the Overton Park Shell featuring Slim Whitman, who was one of the big names of country music at that time. Asked me if I would put Elvis on the show, and I said, well, why not?
Elvis would sing warm-up for country star Webb Pierce and get absolutely no billing. And after he sings That's When Your Heartaches Begin for, at best, a lukewarm audience, nobody seems to care. But thanks to some good advice from Dewey, he will completely stop the second show with That's All Right Mama, and his next Sun single, Good Rockin' Tonight. And something new has been added.
I was on a show as an extra added single, and everybody was hollering, and I didn't know what they were hollering at. Everybody was screaming and everything. And then I came on stage, and my manager told me that they was hollering because I was wiggling my legs. I did a little more, and the more I did, the wider they went.
Then on December 18th, Bob Neal and Sam Phillips will take them to KWKH Radio in Shreveport for their first appearance on the Louisiana Hayride.
Scotty and Bill, they asked me would I work behind them on the first show.
Dominic Joseph Fontana.
It was just one of those things, being at the right place at the right time. They had used some drummers already, and they wasn't really happy with them. And I said, well, sure. I said, but I really don't know what you're doing. I had to listen to you. So we went back to the dressing room, all of us, and got together and run over That's All Right Mama and a couple of those things like that. He was a lot different from the basic country artist at the time. He was between, well, what they call rockabilly, hillbilly, rhythm and blues, gospel. He was a mixture of everything put together. The crowd was really tremendous and really accepted him. Then they invited him to come back because he did so well.
Elvis works magic on that stage, and on the strength of just one appearance, he will be given a 12-month contract. Then, with the addition of Hayride drummer D.J.Fontana, the Hillbilly Cat and the Blue Moon Boys stormed through dozens of one-night stands.
Down through Texas and Arkansas, they had fruit stands and firecracker stands all along the highways in those days. And we'd stop. Oh, he would. He wanted to stop every 30 miles. He just got tired of riding the car. And he'd go down the road throwing firecrackers out the window just to be doing something. And we'd tell him, Elvis, no, we've got to go 300 or 400 miles. We haven't got time to stop. He said, well, we'll make it. Don't worry about it. And sometimes we would, right under the wire. In fact, sometimes the show had already started. And we'd have to jump out, no shave, no, just going, just like we were driving, just going to do the show.
Through Texas, Louisiana, from Arkansas to Mississippi, Elvis jumps on stage clad in draped jackets, pegged pants, and outrageous sport shirts. And he will generate more and more controversy with every show. His shyness battles his starvation for approval. His diet consists of cheeseburgers or peanut butter and banana sandwiches. And already he is cursed by insomnia. But Elvis, Scotty, Bill, and DJ will keep that second-hand Lincoln on the road. They'd work every stage show together. But even though he would always get credit for them, the Sun record dates will never include the newest member of the band.
People don't know that, but I didn't do any Sun sessions. Of course, they didn't use the drummer maybe on 1 or 2 songs. But the sound that Bill had on his bass, it sounded like there was a drum in there. The slapback they were using was a tape slapback, and it sounded like more than 3 pieces. But actually, it wasn't.
But because the only session logs are in a missing spiral notebook, no one really knows who recorded what, when. We do know that on July 6, 1955, Baby Let's Play House will be the first Presley record to hit the national country charts. And in September, he will go all the way to the top with the Sam Phillips Jr. Parker song, Mystery Train. His newfound success will not go unnoticed, especially by a certain cigar-smoking ex-carnival barker who, with the consent of Bob Neal, would soon take the driver's seat and guide the Elvis Presley skyrocket to undreamed-of heights. He's a traditional Southern colonel named Thomas Andrew Parker.
I had gotten Colonel Parker involved in the picture because he was promoting some shows nationally that he put Elvis on. I decided to drop out of the scene because I felt Elvis was going to be a big hit, but I had a popular local radio show and was doing my promotions, had a big family and record shop in Memphis and so forth, and I didn't want to get out away from town and on the road and so forth.
Colonel Parker will make big plans for his boy, plans that are too big for Sun Records. He'll talk money with Dot, but no sale. Offers come in from Mercury, Columbia, and Atlantic, but still no sale. Not until November, when RCA division head Steve Scholes will practically put his job in hock to pay $40,000 for the recording contract and all of Sun's master tapes. Elvis is on top of the world.
Of course, I have been hearing him. I have heard him on Sun, and this guy really had something a little bit different from anybody else.
Gordon Stoker of the Jordanaires.
He didn't really impress me too much on the first session. He apologized for not having taken a bath in 3 days.
It's January 10th, 1956.
Elvis asked for the Jordanaires.
But, says Stoker,
Chet Atkins is in charge of the Nashville operation. He did not produce Elvis's sessions. Steve Scholes produced the sessions, except Chet did get the musicians and the singers. The Spear family, Ben and Brock Spear, his two sisters, and his mother and dad, had just signed with RCA Records. Chet thought that he ought to give the Spears as much work as he could possibly give them. So, because Elvis had asked for the Jordanaires, he thought get Gordon and Ben and Brock Spear. Elvis was not happy that Ben and Brock were there, and of course, he told me on that session, if anything from this session becomes a hit, I want the Jordanaires to be with me on all sessions. Is that possible? And I said, that is certainly possible.
Hits indeed, including I Was the One, and the song that is about to make musical history.
He had a very good piece of material, and he did it well. The musicians and everything came off of the studio good.
In late January, Elvis and all four of the Jordanaires will introduce Heartbreak Hotel on the Dorsey Brothers stage show.
I don't know how many people have asked me, did Elvis write that? He does have his name on that. He has his name on several songs. But Elvis never wrote one song in his life. Remember the deal that the Colonel came up. Elvis will do this song if you'll give him a percentage of it.
And the fan mail for the 5 shows to follow will break all existing records. Elvis looks at it this way.
I happened to come along at a time in the music business where there was no trend. The people were looking for something different, and I was lucky. I came along just in time.
But the news isn't all good. Psychiatrists, religious leaders, and a lot of irate parents will blame him for the sudden rise in juvenile delinquency and claim that his adverse effect on the nation's youth is all a part of some communist plot. But a lot of others would pause to look back within themselves and take the time to remember.
I've had them come around to me with the hundreds and say, I don't personally like your kind of music, but my children like it and so on, and if they like it, well, I ain't got any kick about it, because when I was young, I liked the Charleston, I liked the Foxtrot, I like this and that. They're adults with a little intelligence. They don't run the people in the ground for having a nice time.
Elvis, we've heard newspaper accounts about a few scuffles you've been in where the other fellows seem to get the end of your fist. What about these newspaper reports? Are they accurate?
Yes, sir, I would imagine.
What happened? Did you lose your temper?
It's just a case of get them or be got, you know.
The music critics wouldn't pull any punches either, but Elvis will keep right on spinning gold. On July 25th, Hound Dog will hit number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100. And on August 8th, the B-side will go all the way to become the biggest selling song of the Presley career. Don't Be Cruel will begin a 15-year alliance for Elvis and the Jordanaires. Gordon Stoker, Hoyt Hawkins, Hugh Jarrett, and Neal Matthews Jr. And after just 1 year at RCA, Elvis will be the country's #1 musical attraction. He's everywhere. Bubblegum cards and pictures that glow in the dark, on bobby socks, shoes, bracelets, rings, purses, handkerchiefs, bookends, guitars, greeting cards, buttons, pillows, combs, and hairbrushes. There are dancing dolls, statues, and plaster of Paris busts. There is Elvis Presley lipstick in Hound Dog Orange and Heartbreak Hotel Pink, and a special Elvis Presley phonograph that comes complete with a pack of his singles.